Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering the total meltdown as colleges cancel woke classes nationwide. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Coming from clickorlando.com, Florida cracks down on DEI at state universities, removes sociology class. Public funds may no longer go to DEI initiatives or programs at state colleges. From the New York Times, Florida eliminates sociology as core course at its universities. In December, Florida's education commissioner wrote, "Sociology has been hijacked by left-wing activists." From the Washington Post, Florida removes sociology as core course option for public colleges. To replace sociology, the Florida Board of Governors added an American history class, which it described as a factual history course. From commondreams.org, educators outraged as Florida cuts sociology as a core higher ed course. The American Sociological Association condemned the move as a, quote, failure of Florida's commitment to providing high-quality civics education and workforce readiness. They are upset. And this is what Florida actually did. State Board of Education passes rule to permanently prohibit DEI in the Florida college system. But it's not just Florida. Coming from The Guardian, Texas guts woke civics. Now kids can't engage in a key democratic process. Here's what they stopped. Many states have restricted how schools can teach race and gender, but only Texas has banned student interaction with elected officials. From ProPublica, muzzled by DeSantis, critical race theory professors cancel courses or modify their teaching. Since January 2021, 42 states have introduced bills or taken other steps that restrict teaching critical race theory or limit how teachers can discuss racism and sexism. According to an Education Week analysis, 18 states have imposed these bans and restrictions either through legislation or other means. And from the Washington Post, few legal challenges to laws limiting lessons on race and gender. States have broad latitude to shape curriculums. Nonprofits are searching for plaintiffs, and there is little precedent for such lawsuits to succeed. Which means if states have enough courage, they can get rid of this nonsense forever. From the New York Times, Florida eliminates sociology as a core course at its universities. Students can no longer take sociology to fulfill their core course requirements. Instead, its Board of Governors approved a factual history course as a replacement. The decision by the 17-member Board of Governors came after fierce opposition from sociology professors in the university system, which includes the University of Florida and Florida State. And it is the latest move by the administration of Governor Ron DeSantis to challenge the education establishment and what the governor portrayed as its liberal orthodoxy. In a brief announcement on Wednesday, Chancellor Ray Rodriguez said he was proud of the board's decision and looked forward to the history class and the positive impact the addition of this course will have on our students and their future success. The replacement history class includes America's founding, the horrors of slavery, the resulting Civil War, and the Reconstruction era. Florida has one of the country's largest public university systems with more than 430,000 students. Many students are not going to get this propaganda anymore. The move alarmed sociology professors who believed it could lead to fewer students taking classes and majoring in the subject. The American Sociological Association said in a statement Wednesday that it was outraged by the decision and that it was made without any evidentiary basis. Quote, the decision seems to be coming not from an informed perspective, but rather from a gross misunderstanding of sociology as an illegitimate discipline driven by radical and woke ideology, the statement said. To the contrary, sociology is the scientific study of social life, social change, and the social causes and consequences of human behavior, which are at the core of civil literacy and are essential to a broad range of careers. If it's an important field, they should have never polluted the field. They don't care about these students. They only care about controlling their minds with their sick agendas. In December, Florida's Education Commissioner Manny Diaz Jr. wrote on social media that, quote, sociology has been hijacked by the left-wing activists and no longer serves its intended purpose as a general knowledge course for students. He added that under Governor DeSantis, Florida's higher education system will focus on preparing students for high-demand, high-wage jobs, not woke ideology. Some professors have supported the move. Juka Savalainen, a sociology professor at Wayne State University in Detroit, said in an opinion essay in the Wall Street Journal in December that the discipline was troubled and had become brazenly political. He called for including more contrarian points of view in the teaching of sociology. Quote, "I have taught undergraduate sociology courses since 1996, he wrote. Through the decades, I have watched my discipline morph from a scientific study of social reality into academic advocacy for left-wing causes. In November, the Board of Governors approved removing principles of sociology from a list of courses that students can take to satisfy their general education requirement. The approval on Wednesday finalized that decision after a period of public comment. The course covers topics like race, gender, and sexual orientations, which conservatives in Florida and other states have targeted and tried to restrict. In 2022, Mr. DeSantis signed legislation that restricted how racism and other aspects of history can be taught in schools and workplaces. The law's sponsors called it the Stop Woke Act. Among other things, it prohibits instruction that could make students feel responsibility for or guilt about the past actions of other members of their race. Quote, "The governor appointed administrative bodies overseeing Florida's institutions of higher education have found a new target in the culture wars they are waging on the state's campuses." Ann Barrett, a sociology professor at Florida State University, complained in an opinion essay published Wednesday on the website of the National Education Association. She wrote that the removal of the course would be devastating for sociology in Florida, adding enrollments will plummet. The opportunity to recruit majors will almost disappear. Weakened sociology departments are ripe for elimination and ultimately layoffs. Layoffs is right. If you want to make a lot of money and push a woke agenda, you're not going to be doing it in Florida. You got to find another state. Go to a blue state. They'll probably take you there. From commondreams.org, educators outraged as Florida cuts sociology as a core higher ed course. Despite opposition by sociologists and educators, the state university system of Florida on Wednesday cut sociology from core course requirements, continuing Ron DeSantis' assault on academic freedom, intellectual pursuit, and knowledge. The system's Board of Governors, which is full of DeSantis appointees and oversees a dozen public universities, approved replacing principles of sociology with a U.S. history course. It followed the State Board of Education's vote last week to do the same for 28 Florida colleges. Following the Wednesday vote, Heather Gauntney, a sociology professor at Fordham University in New York City, told Common Dreams, quote, "It's not surprising that people in power would actively suppress efforts to question their power and expose the dynamics underlying it. What's surprising is the ease through which this suppression is happening today, apparently with the help of sociologists themselves in cities like Detroit," she added, noting that such attacks on the crucial field come at a time when society is, quote, "in such dire need of what sociology has to bring: systematic analysis, understanding, and policy solutions." Teresa Hodge, president of United Faculty of Florida, a union representing educators at the system's 12 universities and beyond, similarly said Wednesday that, quote, "We are disappointed in this decision, but unfortunately we are not surprised, given that both boards have made it abundantly clear that they do not care about the robust education of our students and instead only care about political games." After the State Board of Education's unanimous vote, Florida State University sociology professor Ann Barrett warned that such policies are devastating for sociology in Florida. She added the costs to society are higher still. Quote, "Sociology students learn how to use empirical research and logic to assess the accuracy of claims made about the social world. They also gain skills to critique how power is distributed. In short, they are positioned to be engaged citizens armed with the power to destabilize right-wing policymakers' agendas. And this is the threat these regulations seek to neutralize." It does sound pretty political to me. Florida Education Association President Andrew Spar stressed last week that, quote, "the removal of sociology courses as a core general education requirement is part of a continued attack on our state's education system. We've seen it in our K through 12 programs. First they banned books, then classroom libraries, and now they're removing dictionaries from shelves because of their content. They attacked curriculum for being too woke because it taught the truth about slavery." Led by DeSantis, who dropped out of the 2024 presidential contest, decision makers in the state have also taken aim at advanced placement, African American studies, and AP psychology and LGBT people in classrooms. As a White House hopeful, the governor took his right-wing education policies to the national stage. offering a model to other GOP-controlled states and Republicans in Congress. Quote, by stripping them of their ability to learn about diverse topics from diverse teachers, all because some state leaders deem learning too controversial, Florida is taking away precious opportunities for students, said Spar. We must continue to fight back against measures that seek to put special interests over the needs and outcomes of students. And here's what's been going down in Texas. Texas guts woke civics. Now kids can't engage in a key democratic process. The defining experience of Jordan Zamra Garcia's high school career, a hands-on group project in civics class that spurned a new city ordinance in his Austin suburb, would now violate Texas law. Since Texas lawmakers in 2021 passed a ban on lessons teaching that any one group is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, a little notice provision of that legislation has triggered a massive fallout for civics education across the state. Tucked into an 8-page stipulation outlawing all assignments involving direct communication between students and their federal, state, or local officials, short-circuiting the training young Texans receive to participate in democracy itself. Zamora Garcia's 2017 project to add student advisor to the city council and others like it involving research and meetings with elected representatives would stand in direct violation. Since 2021, 18 states have passed laws restricting teachings on race and gender. But Texas is the only one nationwide to suppress students' interactions with elected officials in class projects, according to researchers at the free expression advocacy group PEN America. Practically overnight, a growing movement to engage Texas students in real-world civics lessons evaporated. Teachers canceled time-honored assignments, districts reversed expansion plans with a celebrated civics education provider, and a bill promoting student civics projects that received bipartisan support in 2019 was suddenly dead in the water. Quote, by the time we got to 2021, civics was the last weapon in the culture wars, State Representative James Tallarico, sponsor of that now defunct bill, said. Texas does require high schoolers to take a semester of government and a semester of economics, and is one of 38 states nationwide that mandates at least a semester of civics. But students told the 74 courses typically rely on book learning and memorization without hands-on lessons in civic participation. Quote, students are now banned from advocating for something like a stop sign in front of their school, Tallarico said. You can imagine the people that created this ban are not worried about stop signs in front of their school. They're worried about the political woke agenda being pushed onto students who are very impressionable. Civics is in retreat. The sections of the 2021 law limiting civic engagement pull directly from model legislation authored by the conservative scholar Stanley Kurtz. His extensive writings seek to link an approach called action civics, what he calls woke civics, with leftist activism. Kurtz argues the practice is a form of political indoctrination under the deceptively soothing heading of civics, a cause long celebrated on both the right and the left. Talk about the manipulation and the indoctrination. Quote, it made me feel important. Zamora Garcia, Brandon's former student whose youth representation quest changed a city ordinance, said the experience, now inaccessible to Texas students, had a profound effect on his academic career. Quote, it made me feel more important and more involved, actually being able to have a voice that can make a change. According to the Texas State University Junior. Beforehand, school had felt more like being a cog in a machine. Mabel Zhu, who took the same class 2 years earlier, said the experience was life-changing, igniting her passion for civic engagement for years to come. And she went on to say, without the class, I wouldn't have been able to make such an impact within my community. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.